What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I'm bringing you another update thanks to Phantom Nightmare. This time we are going to be looking at Raidraptors. So Raidraptor's got some amazing new support, including a brand new rank 13 boss monster, which is absolutely insane for the deck. The deck is relatively budget when you considering the OTS 24 reprints, which are coming out technically this week. Some of the cards may still maintain a bit of value, but if you've been looking at Raidraptors previously to this, you should be able to get everything you need without breaking the bank too much. The deck is very competitive, so I'll also show you towards the end of the video a one card combo of exactly what it can do, and it is very resilient against multiple hand traps as well, as I faced this firsthand the other day at locals. So with all of that out of the way, please smash that like button, hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. With that out of the way, we're just going to dive headfirst into the profile and show you exactly what we've got, and as always, explain why we've got it. Now, I've tried to maintain a pure-ish nature with this deck as well, so there's no Phantom Knight engine. We're definitely not doing the Yugioh lock, and there's only one card in this deck that I want to change for something else when I find it, or when I get hold of it, and I'll explain that when I get there. So we start off with the main combo starter of the deck, and that is, of course, your Tribute Lanius. So during the main phase, if this card was normal or special this turn, you get to send a Raidraptor card from the deck to the graveyard. During the main phase 2, specifically, if this card is destroyed an opponent's monster by battle this turn, you get to add a rank up magic quick play spell from your deck to the hand. You can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Raidraptor monsters, which in this particular version is very few cards that are not Raidraptor monsters that you're going to be aiming to try and summon. Then the one card is probably the most expensive one. Someone told me it was like a $10 super. I think you can probably find people that have this in bulk somewhere else. But this one is Strangle Lanius. Hopefully this gets reprinted soon. I don't believe, I might have missed this one as a common in OTS 24. But if it's not in there, I definitely know Tribute Lanius is. So you control a Dark monster, you get to special summon this card from the hand, and you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Dark, which is relatively easy in this deck because if not all of your extra deck monsters are going to be Dark anyway, so you're absolutely fine. If you control an XYZ monster with Dark material, you get to target, or Dark XYZ monster as material, you get to target a level 4 or lower Raidraptor monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but its effects are negated, so again, it's just another way of extending even further. Then we've got 3 of the brand new card, the Vulture. You can play this at 2 if you want to, but it's just a nice free summon to start your turn off with. And basically the idea behind Raidraptors is you want to keep going and going and going and going. You want to be able to get resources by banishing from the graveyard to maintain it that way. You want to be able to keep special summoning from the hand. So every time your opponent either destroys your board, negates your board, you're able to keep going and going. So if you control no other cards, or no face-up monsters other than Winged Beast monsters, you get to special summon this card from the hand and 1 Raidraptor monster from your hand. So if you control no monsters, you can target 2 level 4 or lower Raidraptor monsters in your graveyard, including this card, special summon them in defense. You can only use 1 Raidraptor Bloom Vulture effect per turn, and once that turn. You can't special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except Darks. So the idea is that it's a recursion from the graveyard, but it's also an extender from the hand, which is really, really important. By maintaining your normal summon, you're able to keep building up your XYZ plays, or of course, in the form of your Link monster of Y-Strix, you're able to kind of move your plays further forward that way. We're then also playing triple Fuzzy Lanius. So the reason this one's so cool is it does give you that ability, especially when you'll be able to send this with your Tribute Lanius. So if you control a Raidraptor monster other than itself, you get to special summon this card from the hand. Very nice. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you get to add a Raidraptor Fuzzy Lanius from your deck to the hand. You can only use each effect once per turn, and you cannot special summon monsters the turn you activate this except Raidraptors, which again is absolutely fine because the route of play we're going down, we're only going to be focusing on Raidraptor monsters anyway. But the idea is that very simply, Tribute Lanius, send Fuzzy Lanius, search out a second copy of Funny Lanius, send it down, summon it down, and then you can go off and combo from there. Then for an additional extender, we do play Simorgh, Bird of Perfection. So while face up on the field, this card is also treated as a wind attribute, not that that's massively relevant. What's more important is during your main phase, if you normal or special a Winged Beast monster or monsters, you get to reveal this card in your hand. Immediately after this effect resolves, normal summon 1 Simorgh monster. If this card is normal summoned, you get to send a Simorgh monster from the deck to the graveyard to add a Simorgh spell or trap from the deck to the hand. Now, technically it could send itself and you could then play a Simorgh spell or trap if you wanted to, but the idea behind this and the reason that we play this at 3 is it allows you to protect your stuff like Tribute Lanius from stuff like Ash Blossom, which you already play cards in order to allow it to dodge targeted effects like Imperms and Veilers, so you're also then trying to play cards that allow you to protect it from Ash, and Simorgh is one of them ways of doing it. And then of course we've got another one of the brand new one, the Noir Lanius. So during your main phase, if this card was normal or special this turn, you get to target a Raidraptor monster you control, add a Raidraptor monster with a different level than that monster from your deck to the hand. You can banish this card from the graveyard, increase or decrease the level of all Raidraptor monsters you currently control by 1. Now that effect is probably the more important one than the first one. I'm not saying the first one is bad at all, but the idea is that being able to do that and increase their levels by 1 gives you instant access to get into your rank 5, which is your brand new Brave Strix, which is absolutely insane for the deck as well, because going in from this gets you into Arsenal Falcon, and then when Arsenal Falcon leaves the field, stupidly enough, it gets you to go straight into your Ultimate Falcon as well. And then the last one we are playing is the one Mimicry and then the double Raiders Wing. So the Mimicry gives you that graveyard recurability, because being able to banish this from the graveyard to then search out a Raidraptor monster also helps you combo off with Tribute Lanius. The Raiders Ring is actually incredibly important. So again, I learnt this firsthand when I played this at locals this weekend. So being able to have this as a material to one of your XYZ monsters, meaning that it cannot be targeted, is absolutely insane. It allows you to deal with stuff like Imperms and Veilers, and it's really important because a lot of people forget how important targeted effects are. So being able to protect your cards, and as long as you maintain this as a material for all of your XYZs as you rank up, it makes it very, very difficult for your opponent to deal with. So if this card is in the hand or graveyard, you get to detach a material from a Dark XYZ to special summon it, but you banish it when it leaves the field. Chances are it's never going to leave the field naturally, it's always going to be used as a material, so it's always going to be in the graveyard as well. It's treated as a Phantom Knight card and a Raidraptor card, so it does have dual purposes in the deck as well. The last two Raidraptors we are playing is the one Pain Lanius and the one Singing Lanius. This is just for an additional form of an extender. You can play Heal if you want to. I couldn't find my copy, but Heal just gives you that ability to recur some of the Raidraptor spells and traps in the graveyard, which is also very important. The reason you play the Pain Lanius as well is it can't be used as XYZ material for an XYZ except for the XYZ of a Winged Beast monster, and it is a level 1, so it can be a little bit annoying. But if this card is in the hand, you get to target one Raidraptor monster you control that has a level. You take damage equal to its attack or defense, whichever is lower, and if you do, you special on this card for free. And if you do that, this level becomes a level of that targeted monster. So again, it's just another form of extension that what you're trying to do is every time your opponent goes Ash, Imperm, Veiler, and they're stopping all of your combos building up, you're able to still go, okay, cool, Pain Lanius, Singing Lanius, Mimicry, everything like that, you still want to build and build and build. I'll go over the Raidraptor specific spells and traps first, and then I'll take you through the rank ups and then the other spell that I'm playing before I get into the hand traps. So we're playing the one brand new Roost. So if a Raidraptor monster or monsters is special summoned from the extra deck to your field, etc. in a damage deck, you get to add a Raidraptor spell or trap from the deck to the hand. So straight away you're going to be searching out the Glorious Bright, which is actually really important. And that's kind of why I want to be playing Heal, so that I can loop this back, which is really cool. On top of that as well, you get the ability to target 3 of your Raidraptor monsters that are banished and or in the graveyard, place them on the bottom of the deck in any order, and then draw 1 card. You can only use each effect once per turn, but it's nice recyclability, so if you really wanted to, you could start cutting down some of the doubles in the extra deck down to 1s, but honestly I quite like playing doubles just so it gives me, especially if there's Kashtira, which I'm expecting to be in the meta going forward, I just have more ways of being able to play around it. Then of course you've got your Glorious Bright, so if you control a Raidraptor monster, you target a face-up monster your opponent controls, or if you control a Raidraptor XYZ, you can target a face-up card your opponent controls instead, and negate that card's effects until the end of the turn. It's a shame it doesn't destroy, but is what it is. You can banish this card from the graveyard to target one of your Raidraptor monsters that is banished or in your graveyard and add it to the hand, so again, it's that recurability, but you can only use one of the effects per turn, so the idea is during your opponent's turn you negate, during your turn you regain that resource to build your board off again. For the rank up cards, we are playing the one rank up Magic Skip Force. I feel this is probably like the best one for the deck. I do advise playing 2, which is why I also play the rank up Magic Force. I actually want to play the normal spell card that you pay half your life points to rank up. And I also want to try out the brand new one that I didn't get in Phantom Nightmare. So take this with a pinch of salt. That's something you can change out. This is still playable in the deck because it is technically a rank up card as well. But the idea is I probably want to be subbing that out for the brand new one as soon as I can get hold of it, or of course the original normal one that's pay half your life points. And there's so many different rank up spells out there that my mind escapes exactly which one it is. And then I'm playing triple Swallow's Nest. Now I know people are playing the brand new one, which allows you to tribute off a Winged Beast to search out a Winged Beast. I get that because it still gives you the extender, but I quite like Swallow's Nest to tribute a face-up Winged Beast type monster to special summon a Winged Beast type monster from the deck for the same level that the tribute monster had. Now the way I like this is because I can go, I get it, because you would go Tribute Lanius and then you could activate the new Swallows card to tribute off the Tribute Lanius and then search out a card that could become an extender. But I still like the idea of going Swallow's Nest, they go Chain Imperm, and I go Swallow's Nest, activate Tribute Lanius, they chain Imperm, I chain Swallow's Nest, tribute off the Lanius, still get the dump, but then still get that monster on the board. Like I said, the idea behind this deck is you're constantly wanting to try and put in additional monsters on the board. The fact this isn't a hard once per turn either means it's going to have multiple usages for you. So if your opponent opens up like multiple imperms and everything else, you continue to keep dodging. The only time this doesn't work is it doesn't work if you're trying to tribute off one of your XYZs or a Links, where that's arguably where the brand new Swallows card will actually help you out a little bit more. So this one's entirely up to you. I just feel that this works quite nicely for me, and it's something a little bit different I wanted to trial out that I haven't seen in many Raidraptor builds, and I do like what it can apply. Then for the hand traps, pretty staple on this one, so Drolls, Ashes, Imperms, and then the one Call By. This is really up to you. It's subjected to your local environment. You can play Nibiru's if you want to be focusing on going second. You can play more board breakers in the form of stuff like Forbidden Droplets if you want to. Just because you've got so many cards that can recur from the graveyard, it's really, really kind of cool. But ultimately, I feel that your hand traps is just down to you and personal preference. Moving on to the extra deck, of course, we'll start and we'll go from the... Let's go from the higher levels down. So we're going to be playing the one brand new Raidraptor Rising Rebellion Falcon. Now you can play this at multiple if you want to. Again, that's kind of the argument of do you want to be playing multiple of the higher level ones, but I choose to play multiple of the lower level ones. Yes, I can recycle some of them when they hit the graveyard, but if they don't hit the graveyard, you're in a little bit of trouble. Obviously, we all know how powerful and how annoying Ultimate Falcon is, and it's just incredibly easy to actually summon this now, especially with the Arsenal Falcon and the deck being so easily accessible, thanks to the brand new Brave Strix, which we'll talk about when we get to it. However, the Rising Rebellion Falcon, it does require 5 level 13 Wing Beast monsters. Yeah, like that's ever happening. It's unaffected by other card effects, and if this card is XYZ summoned, you get to destroy as many cards your opponent controls as possible. Then if you have 3 or more Raidraptor XYZ monsters with different names as material, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the combined original attack of the destroyed monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 3 materials from this card, target a Raidraptor XYZ monster in your graveyard. This card gains that monster's effect until the end of this turn. Now, I'm just going to try and find the brand new rank up, because this is the one that I'm missing. Rank up. And basically the idea is this is the one that I'm missing that I wanted to get a hold of, that I didn't pull, annoyingly, from all of the packs. And then I forgot that it even existed. And I was like, damn, I should have got this from a friend that's opened up loads. But it's Rank Up Magic, Raiders Force, I believe. Is it Rise Ranking? Let me just find it. That's not the one. This is what happens when you Google as we go. There we go, that's the one. So, Rise Rank Up Magic Raidraptor's Force. During the main phase or your opponent's battle phase, target 2 or more Raidraptor XYZ monsters you control and or in your graveyard, including a monster on the field, if at least 2 remain face up or at resolution. Special summon 1 Raidraptor XYZ monster from your extra deck with a rank equal to the combined ranks, and if you do, attach the targeted monsters to it as material. This is treated as an XYZ summon, and you transfer the materials to the summoned monster. You can only activate 1 Rise Rank Up Magic Raidraptor's Force per turn. Now, obviously, the idea is you do need to be able to get the combined levels, which does get a little bit tricky, but then you're trying to work your way into a 13 anyway, so it's not the end of the world. Whereas the Phantom Knight's Rank Up Magic is a little bit easier because you're just banishing as many dark monsters as you could possibly need to in order to rank it up. But the idea would be that once I get hold of the other Raidraptor one, I'm definitely going to want to be using that to kind of help me get into this. And then that board clear is insane. And the reason that's so good is it actually combos off and can even burn your opponent for game as well, depending on what they've put on the board. Another card that can really help you kind of utilize the Rising Rebellion's effect is your Satellite Cannon. Now, I like the idea behind this. Yes, it's very specific, but the idea is a massive shout out to, once I go back, so Viper GX. So he did a Raidraptor profile on their channel, and they explained why they use Satellite Cannon, and I actually thought that was a great idea. So the idea would be that during your opponent's turn, if you get Nibiru'd, yes, you have recursion to come back to it, but rather than going into an Ultimate Falcon, which obviously is great enough as it is, if you can go into a Y-Strix, and then you're able to get into the Satellite Cannon instead because your Arsenal Falcon's been Nibiru'd, or you go into the Satellite Cannon instead of the Ultimate Falcon, and then you go on the Y-Strix here. The idea is that when you activate the effect of this to reduce your opponent's attacks, it triggers off the Y-Strix to set you the quick play, which is, of course, going to be the one that I'm missing, annoyingly, the Raidraptor's Force. That then allows you to activate the Raidraptor's Force to then upgrade the Satellite Cannon into the Rising Rebellion. You'll have multiple Raidraptors in the graveyard to attach it to as material, and that's going to give you the burn and the pop, which is going to be a little bit more effective than the Ultimate Falcon. So that was the kind of reasoning behind it, and I thought it was a great idea, so I was like, cool, I'll give you the shout out for it, all credit due, credit where credit is due, and I thought it was a good idea, which is kind of what I wanted to play it. And I do like the fact that it maintains that Raidraptor theme. Like, this could very easily be a Caliuga if you want to go down that route, it could be an SP Little Knight, but I wanted to maintain the Raidraptors, and I thought it was really kind of cool. Arsenal Falcon, I really kind of, again, if I'm worried about Kashtira, I'm considering playing this at 2, just because this is like, if you're facing this deck, if you get rid of this card and you do not let it hit the graveyard, you're like, the deck will struggle a little bit. This card's just nuts for this deck. 2 of the brand new Brave Strix. Again, some people can play it at 1 if you want to. If you wanted to bump this up to 2, then you can cut this down to 1. But the idea is that it's a Raidraptor XYZ that has this card as material, gains the following effects. This card gains attack equal to its rank times 100, so this would then go up to 3200, which is really nice. You can only use one of the following effects once per turn, and only once that turn. You get to detach material from this card to set a Raidraptor spell or trap from the deck, and if you have a Winged Beast monster as material, you can detach one material from this card to add a rank up spell from the deck to the hand. So again, it's just searchability, but the idea is that it's a level 5 that allows you to set the rank up, that lets you rank this up to go into the Arsenal Falcon, so that when this leaves the board, which is absolutely insane, it specifically needs to be sent to the graveyard, and it has to have a Raidraptor monster as material. You just get to special summon a Raidraptor XYZ from the extra deck, except itself, so you just go straight into Arsenal Ultimate Falcon. It's just like, it's mad. And then of course we've got 2 Force Strix. Again, this is another one that you could cut down to 1 if you want to. 2 Raiders Knight. I'm waiting for this card to get a secret. I think this is one of the best artworks I've seen on a card for a long, long time. Like, this reminds me, and this is why I like the Raidraptors, because they're so dark and menacing, and I love how they merge with the Phantom Knights as well. But what I love about this card, it just looks so good. It looks like something out of Dark Souls. Now, I know, of course, we've just had Ashened, but when you look at this artwork, like, it's like, it looks like, to me, and I'm going to go on a little bit of a tangent here, it looks like a steampunk version of Sauron from Lord of the Rings, and I'm like, yo. So I would really love to see this as a higher rarity card, but as an Ultra, it still looks really cool. And then, of course, we've got the Dark Rebellion. So you've got the Requiem, you can play the other one if you want to. Rebellion. Typhoon is the only one that isn't a Raidraptor card, but when you look at it, it looks like a Raidraptor card to me, so I'm going to let that one slide. And then 2 White Strix. Pretty straightforward and simple on these. Nothing too crazy about it. Like I said, you have flexibility if you want to. If you're like, you know what, I'm going to pour all of my money into Raidraptors, I want SP Little Knight, I want to be able to go absolutely crazy, then by all means you can do. I don't think you need to, but I still think the deck's really, really fun, very, very powerful. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you a 1-card combo for how you can get started with this deck as well, so you know the bare basics, and then you can work around with it, test around with it, use this list as a demo, adapt it to your personal playstyle, and then go from there. So we'll be back in a second. So the 1-card combo is all going to come off the back of Tribute Lanius. Now, you can go in different routes, but I'm basically going to show you how you can get to the brand new rank 13 all through this 1 card. And then from that point on, it really does come down to your personal playstyle. I'll also show you how you can add an Ultimate Falcon to the end board as well. So you're going to start off by normal summoning the Tribute Lanius. You're going to use this effect because it was normal or special to send a Mimicry from the deck to the graveyard. You're then going to be able to activate Mimicry's effect to banish it from the graveyard to add yourself a Strangle Lanius. You then go to special summon down the Strangle Lanius because you control a dark monster. Very, very nice. Then what you can do is you're going to overlay both of these and go into a Raider's Knight. Now keep in mind this combo can be produced in loads of different ways depending on what else you have. The idea is that you kind of want to get to your Lanius just to be able to give you that further extension. And if you can get into something like your Raider's Wing a little bit earlier on, you can add protection to the Raider's Knight so it can't be targeted, which is very, very great success. You're then going to use this effect, so you detach the Strangle Lanius, as that's the 1 card you're going to want in the graveyard more than not, to go into your Brave Strix. You're then going to be able to use Brave Strix's effect. Again, we're just going to detach the Lanius to get yourself a rank up magic Skip Force. So this one allows you to target a Raidraptor XYZ you control, special summon from the extra a Raidraptor monster that is 2 ranks higher than that target by using targeted as XYZ material. Very, very nice. On top of that as well, is during the main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you get to banish this card to add a Raidraptor monster from the graveyard, then target a Raidraptor XYZ you control in the graveyard and special summon it. So again, just recurability. So we're going to activate this, you're going to rank up your Brave Strix into your Arsenal Falcon. Very, very nice. And then you're going to use the effect on this one, make sure you detach the Raider's Wing in order to special summon out the Strangle Lanius from the deck. You can now use the second effect of the Strangle Lanius to control a Raidraptor with an XYZ as material to bring back the Strangle Lanius from the graveyard, but its effects are negated. Now what you want to do is you want to use your Arsenal Falcon plus the Strangle Lanius that isn't negated in order to go into your Y-Strix. In doing so, you'll be able to trigger off the Arsenal Falcon effect and the Y-Strix effect as well. So on this one, you're going to want to be bringing out your Rising Rebellion Falcon. Now, of course, you can go for the Ultimate Falcon if you want to, but we're going to show you how you can get to that a little bit easier a little bit later on. And then, of course, because this was linked on, you get to special summon a level 4 Dark Wing Beast from the deck. In defense, you're going to go for your Raider's Wing, and that's going to provide you with forms of protection, which is really, really nice. And then on top of that is an XYZ, Raidraptor XYZ monster effect is activated, you get to set a rank up spell from the deck, and if it's a quick play, you can use it that turn. So we're going to overlay both of these. You're going to go into your Force Strix. You're then going to use Force Strix's effect. Detach. Kind of want to keep this on the board so it can't be targeted, so that's very nice to keep that as a material. And then in doing so, you'll be able to trigger the Y-Strix effect as well as resolving off your Force Strix. So as you use its effect, you detach a material to add a level 4 or lower Dark Wing Beast monster from the deck to the hand. Now in this one, I'm just going to show you how you can extend, like, you can set up plays or recursion for the next turn. So you can pretty much go for any one you want. You can go for something like Fuzzy Lanius. Keep getting it wrong. And in order to do so, you can start going into Bardiche if you want to be playing down that route or anything else you really want to. I'm going to go with, just to show you off, like the Bloom Vulture. Like if my opponent clears this board off, I've got a way to crack back. But ultimately, you're going to be setting up your Phantom Knight's rank up Magic Force. So during the main phase, you get to banish one or more dark monsters from the graveyard, then target one dark XYZ you control to special summon the extra deck one Phantom Knight, Raidraptor, or XYZ monster whose rank is that target's level plus the ones you've banished. Now, as it currently stands in the graveyard, you have exactly 5. So all you need to do is get one more in the graveyard, and you can upgrade your Raidraptor Force Strix into a Ultimate Falcon. So you can go for something like your Bloom Vulture, just because you control no other monsters apart from Wing Beast, you get to special summon it down, you're like, yeah, cool, happy days. And then what you want to do is link these off. Now, obviously, in this version, we don't get to like link up. We're not going into a Phantom Knight or Bardiche, but you can do, and that will give you a little bit more to your board presence. But the idea is that what you're trying to do here, just by going into another Y-Strix, is you're then going to be able to activate the Phantom Knight's rank up. Whether you do it during your turn or your opponent's turn, doesn't make much of a difference. And it means you can banish cards that are going to be less effective for you in the graveyard, just to be able to rank up your cards. So let's go with 4, just for the sake of the video. 6, or just to kind of show you what you can do, and you rank that up into an Ultimate Falcon. So that's one way of doing it. Obviously, like I said, I would much rather this be the newer card, because then that gives me the ability to go Ultimate Falcon here rather than the Rising Rebellion, and then I can use Rising Rebellion during my opponent's turn, doing the exact same kind of outcome route that you've seen, just to give you that little bit more of an oomph. But I wanted to show you that you can end with both your towers all from one card, which is absolutely mental in this type of deck. Now, like I said, with the additional extenders that you play in the deck, you do have ways to be able to play through more interruptions. I've seen this firsthand. Like, literally, what did I do? I impermed, I ashed, and I blew up my opponent's board, and they were still able to go because they opened up just absolutely mental. But the deck is really, really good, really, really fun. I love what they can do now, and it's all because, less so like the new cards in the deck, like the new cards from the main deck, they're okay, they're not bad. Like, I don't mind them. But what I'm trying to say, like, they're good. What I'm trying to say is, the one that's made a difference, if you're sitting at home like, yeah, Raidraptor's been around for ages, what have they got that's actually made it good? Like, these are okay. But that is just mental. Yeah, okay, cool. The rank 13, it's good. It's very good. Very strong monster. But it's this card. This is the card that now instigates everything. The fact that this gets you into Arsenal Falcon so much easier to then go into any of these two just by the flick of a off the board. Whoa, so good. Anyway, I hope this has given you a couple of ideas on your own build. I hope it's given you a very nice introduction and basic breakdown for the deck, which is what I want to try and do with the videos a lot more. I want to be able to show you a demo list and then show you a combo. If you want to start seeing more demo side decks for the videos, then let me know, and I'll try and put some of them together. But more times than not, the side decks, in my opinion, are all relatively the same. For me, my personal playstyle anyway, there might be like 1 or 2 cards that is a little bit more specific to the deck, so I can talk you through those if you need to. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Till next time, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.